It's really easy to think that politics is this big, complicated thing that happens somewhere far away, right? Something that doesn't have much to do with your day to day. Well, we're going to flip that idea on its head. Today, we're digging into the incredible power of the government that's literally right in your neighborhood. And we've got an amazing story about how a 14-year-old took on City Hall and actually won. All right, let's get into it. So let me ask you a question. Just think about it for a second. Who really has a bigger impact on your everyday life? The Prime Minister or your local mayor? I mean, we see national leaders on the news all the time, but who's making sure the water comes out of your tap, or that the park down the street is safe, or that the bus you need actually shows up on time? The answer? Well, it might not be who you think. And that's exactly what we're talking about today, municipal government. People sometimes call it the invisible government, which I think is a great way to put it. It's kind of humming along in the background of our lives, but it's the system that's directly in charge of our communities, our cities, our towns, the places we actually live. And here's the key thing to get. This isn't some vague idea. Your municipal government is an official body, set up by the provincial or territorial government with a specific job of managing your local community. This is where politics gets super personal.
So what does it actually do? Well, take a look. We're talking about the absolute essentials. Every time you flush the toilet, put out the recycling, see a fire truck race by, or just borrow a book from the library, yep, that's your municipal government at work. It is literally the engine that keeps your community running every single day.
So what happens when that engine starts to sputter? For that, we're going to jump back in time to the summer of 2011 in Toronto. The city was facing a massive budget crisis, and some really, really tough decisions were on the table. And listen, we're not talking about a minor budget shortfall here. The economy was struggling, city costs were going up, and officials were seriously worried the city was about to hit a financial wall. The stakes could not have been higher. So to try and fix this, the city came up with a list of major cuts. And you can see right away who gets hit the hardest by this stuff. Cutting late-night buses, that hurts people working late shifts. Closing public health clinics, that impacts families who depend on those services. But there was one proposal that really set people off: massive cuts to the public library system. Now, in the middle of all this chaos, the city did something important. It invited regular citizens to a public meeting to talk about the budget. It was a chance for people to have their say, and little did anyone know, an unlikely hero was about to step up to the microphone. And the way they do this has an official name. It's called a deputation. It's not just, posting an angry comment online. This is a formal, recognized way for any citizen to stand up and speak directly to the decision makers. And were people ready to use that tool? Oh, yeah. Get this, over 350 citizens signed up to speak. This wasn't just a few people. It felt like the whole city was mobilized, heading down to City Hall to fight for their services. What happened next was just wild. The city officials decided they would sit and listen to every single person who signed up, no matter how long it took. The meeting went all day and all night, for 23 straight hours. It's still the longest city council meeting in Toronto's history. And somewhere in that marathon of speakers, one voice managed to cut through all the noise. And it wasn't a politician or a big-shot CEO. It was a student who was just 14 years old and was terrified of losing her neighborhood library. Her name was Annika Tabovaraden. She wrote a speech, she walked up to that podium in a room full of powerful adults, and she just spoke from the heart about why the libraries mattered. By the time she was done, the entire room was on its feet applauding. And the impact? It was immediate. Annika's speech went viral, and just a few days later, the mayor got in front of the cameras and announced that library closures were officially off the table. Just like that. Her voice, her participation, helped save a crucial city service. Annika's story is it's incredible, and it's such a powerful reminder that one person really can make a huge difference. Now, she used a deputation, but that's just one tool in a whole toolkit you have for creating change right where you live. So let's take a look at what else is in there. Look at this list. You don't have to do something dramatic. You can just show up to a council meeting to learn what's going on. You can find your local councilor's email and just send them a message. You can sign a petition, volunteer for a cause you care about, or even join a youth council. Every single one of these is a way to make your voice heard. But okay, let's say you're feeling really inspired by Annika's story and you want to do exactly what she did. Making one of those formal speeches, a deputation, might sound super intimidating, but the process is actually pretty simple.
Here's the whole playbook right here. 5 steps. First, you hop on your city's website and find the committee that deals with your issue, so you're talking to the right people. Second, you contact the city clerk to get your name on the list. Third, you write your speech. Keep it short, powerful, and stick to the facts. Fourth, and this is super important, practice it. You usually only have a few minutes. And finally, number 5, you show up and deliver your message. See? It's a clear path from having an idea to making sure it gets heard.
So, if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. The power to change your community is so much closer than you think. You don't need to be a certain age, you don't need a fancy title. As Annika showed the entire country, all you really need is a voice and the courage to use it. Which really just leaves one final question for you. What's the one thing you'd change about where you live?